Muscle up level 3, also known as an advanced feet assisted muscle up. So if this is where we were doing our feet assisted muscle up at nipple height, how we make it harder is just by lowering the rings. So it forces us to put less weight in the legs, more weight into our upper body. So what we'll do to start off, we're just going to move down the tiniest bit. So let's say underneath your chest, first rib sort of areas where the rings are going to stay. Okay. Now, the way that you understand if this is too easy, this height, or if you need to go lower to make it harder, is by the speed in which you can control the way down. If I go from this height now and I go to control down and I'm like, and I drop straight out of it, I've gone too low and I need to bring the rings up a little bit higher so I can use some more support. Now, also your feet are just not being straight underneath you like they were in the feet assisted muscle up. They're going to be just a tiny little bit out in front. So now instead of our weight just being underneath us like we can stand, it's going to be out in front. So if I were to let go of the rings, I would fall backwards. I'd start to fall. So you start in that position. It's the same thing as before. I do the transition. I hold. You can probably tell I'm a little bit more horizontal than I was in the previous one. I'm leaning back more. I turn the hands out. I pull up to the rings and transition over. That transition on the way over is going to feel a little bit more difficult when you're lowering with the rings. But let's say I did that one right. I'm going to test the waters a bit and I'm going to go a bit lower. The movement though is exactly the same no matter what height the rings are at. You just tend to lean back more because the rings are getting lower and your body is having to push your legs out in front of you a bit more. So feet out in front, still just on my toes. I start my transition. I'm quite horizontal now. I'm pushing my knees out in front, looking up at the rings, turning out. I pull up, just the rings, transition and rest. Never do I want you to push up out of it. I just want you to stay, always finish in that dip position. So I did that good again. Let's start to really test the waters and we're getting lower and lower and lower. Obviously I can do a muscle up so you can go as low as you need, but for you with your progression, this is going to be a really good test to see where it starts to break down. So if I'm here and then I go to do my thing and I'm just dropping out of it, you know that you've gone too far and you just need to edge the rings up a little bit high until you can find that sweet spot. Take note of how high that is as well. So when you find the sweet spot, you'll be like, cool, the ring is at the top of my pelvis or at my hip bone or whatever, and make a note of that so that you can always come back to that progression. So I'll go again, my feet are out in front. I sink down, you can see it's a lot different position now. I transition, so my knees are gonna have to come forward. I'm pretty horizontal, slowly control down, turn the hands out, still keeping my false grip. I pull up, strong transition, and then rest there. So you can really go as far as you want until you obviously can't go any further where your back will hit the ground. That's as low as you get. And that's when you get to the next progression, which I'll run you through in the muscle up level 4.